What is up, guys? I'm Ian Smith. I'm here with my good friend Josh Wilson. Now in this video, we're gonna be covering how to start conversations with anyone on social media. I figured that's a great topic because Josh here is the best at that, exactly. Like this dude, somehow he's always telling me about meetings that he's had with like top level executives and big timers in the world. And I'm like, how the heck are you getting meetings and talking to these people? These are like big timers. And so I figured that's a perfect topic. Josh, how the heck do you get in touch with these people and actually build solid relationships with them?
I work with CEOs, founders, investors who are trying to build influence. So I help them build their authority in influencer marketing. And a part of that is the first step is you have to be approachable, right? You have to, everyone comes into every kind of conversation going, what's in it for me, right? So you have to become the person that your ideal client truly wants to talk with. Most people, let's just say you're trying to have a conversation, you're doing sales and you're trying to have a conversation with the consumer, right? So I like to look at it as a dance, right? So this is gonna sound really weird, but you're in a bar and you see someone that you actually want to dance with, okay? So let's look at it that way.
Okay.
So we're going through like the customer journey, the customer dance, right? If you walk in straight through the door, you pay your fee or whatever in a bar, and you walk straight up to the person and you go, you want to dance with me? It doesn't matter what music's playing or anything. They're gonna, unless you're really, really, really good looking.
Or lucky.
Or alcohol's involved, right? They're gonna say no.
Yeah.
Right? Or they're just gonna go, whoa, like, that's kind of upfront, right? So unless their motivation is extremely high and there's a major urgency in their world.
Or you're a celebrity or you've got a massive amount of credibility and trust already established.
Right.
And chances are you don't.
Yeah.
So
I don't.
Okay.
So
what do you say?
I had
do?
to earn my dances, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing you do is you walk in and you take a look around and you observe. Okay. So you look for, and this is I'm a married man now, but like this is the way that the game used to be played back in the day. Is you look for buying signs, right? You look for buying signals. You look for people who are looking around. You look for people who are hanging around the dance floor, who are swaying back and forth. So how does this apply in the business world? Right? So people who are posting comments or their social media says that they do this or that. And you could use ads and you could look through people's profiles to understand them. But you look for buying signals, like you look for a broken website. Like if you're selling websites, go to their website. If it's a slow load page, that's a buying sign, right? So just like in the bar, you're looking for buying signs and you observe for a little bit. While all the other idiots are running and wasting their time, learn from them and watch how not to do it.
So you're saying, I mean, first observe the scenery, look at the situation, get a full understanding of the situation first before you just run into the battlefield. You first want to understand, oh, is there a sniper over there? Okay, what's going on over there? Are they looking around? So first understand the situation and then I assume establish a game plan.
Yeah.
After that.
So you look around, you go, okay, I kind of got the lay of the land. I know what kind of music's playing, right? I could see the people who are
you judge them and you're like, okay, what are they wearing? What are they interested in? And
right.
And so if we're talking about social media, what is on their profile? What is in their pictures? What kind of content do they post? Or what am I reading from them as an individual?
Yeah, exactly. So let's just say you're selling supplements, right? Health and nutrition supplements, right? You can look at someone's profile and you'll see the pictures that they post if you're connected with them or if you're following them. And if they're always posting pictures and maybe they're not in the best of shape, but they're going, hey, I lost another 3 pounds on their social media, or hey, I got, I dropped this clothing size, or maybe on the reverse side where they have a pain point and they go, oh my gosh, my clothes don't fit me anymore. But you can observe these kind of buying signs. Just like you watch people who are kind of like swaying around listening to music, you're watching for those kind of things. So you could go, hey, I noticed you did that, right? So on social media, it might be, they might have posted something. You could, what they call it, the clam message, right? Or the clam method. Comment, like send out a friend request, accept, instant message, and have a conversation, message them. So they call it the clam.
Pause right there, because the clam method, I mean, first, instead of just going right in and messaging them, you're kind of easing your way. You're kind of coming on their radar first.
Yeah.
You're showing up on their radar by showing up that you commented, that you liked, that you are in their ecosystem bouncing around. And then when you do message them and go directly at them, they're a little bit already warmed. They're aware of you because you're already in their ecosystem.
Yeah.
I like that.
So imagine this. You know, you and I are having a conversation, and I said, man, it's hot in here. And then someone came by and they go, yeah, it's really hot in here. You know, they should really turn on the AC. Or I happen to have this, you know, spray bottle fan. Would you like to try it out? And you're like, man, that's awesome. I would love to try it, right? So it's just like they became a part of the conversation. You become a part of the conversation. You hear what's going on. You get on their same level. And then you can just say, would you be interested in figuring out how to whatever?
Let's say LinkedIn, for example, because that's the best way to really find somebody that you want to connect with them and get going. So what I'm reading from you is that you're saying first you want to connect with them, right? So that you can then see their posts that they're posting. If you can see their posts, right? I mean, if they are posting, then you want to comment, like, you know, engage with their content. If they're not posting comments, then the only option you really have is just to message them right away. But first, before you just message them, you want to get a lay of the land. You want to look at the situation, really look at their profile, look at their images, look at their job, you know, history, look at what they're doing for nonprofit, their interests and all that kind of stuff. Really look at their profile and then figure out, okay, how can I now craft my first message to them that's mentioning one of those things?
Yeah. The beautiful thing about LinkedIn is you can be connected with someone through a third degree connection. So I'm connected with you, but you're connected with Sally, and she might be connected with Bob. And I could start learning about Sally and Bob just because they're connected with you, and I could see who they are, right? So there's many different things you could do, but you could look at Sally's profile. I could see her picture. I could learn a lot about someone's picture, their background,
You really can.
their title. Like a lot of times people, what they say in their title really helps me understand what they truly want.
Yeah.
Like they go, I'm an account executive for IBM and I help, you know, software solutions for medium-sized businesses. So it's like, she can't tell me any more. Like I know exactly what she's looking for, right? So it's like someone walking around with a sign saying, I need this.
Yeah.
Right? And then if you look at their summary, people will spell out in their summary their accomplishments, their needs, their pains, their fears. And you could read about them and take just a second, and you could almost walk up to her and be like, I know everything, which is so creepy.
Which would be creepy,
right?
yeah. I think that would kind of scare her. But you're saying just because you say LinkedIn is business, you don't want to just talk business with them. You want to keep it, I mean, what I'm personally thinking, like you would want to keep it casual just because it is the business platform. You'd want to keep your conversation casual, but eventually go towards business, or?
Well, it depends what you're looking for. Like maybe you're looking to work with Sally to move up the food chain where you can get into conversations with her bosses or her managers or maybe the owners of IBM or whatever the case may be. So maybe the case is you do want to just kind of build that relationship so she could champion you up, all right?
Okay.
Or if she is the decision maker, you want to figure out how you could get on common playground, right? Because you want her to be able to see you not as a salesperson, not as a threat, but someone that she would be happy to have a conversation with because she might need something, she might be curious about something, she might need your help in some way, right? So you got to kind of figure out what that is, and that's the dance, that's the game of it. So you got to figure out what makes people tick and what do they want. And if you could kind of figure that off just by looking at their profile, you could position yourself, or you could start a conversation off that kind of cuts through all the crap and gets to that quicker.
So give us an example, really, of like a recent conversation that you may have started. Who was this person? If you want to say the real name, say the real name. But like, who is it? And then what was your first message? And then how did that first couple messages go with that conversation?
Okay. So right now I have a few podcasts, right? I have a podcast show which cost me less than $100 a month to actually produce. And when you have a podcast behind your name, you could just reach out to someone and be like, "Hey, you want to be on my podcast show?" And it's you could cut really through all the crap. But before I had a podcast show, let me share with you how I got interviews, or conversations at least, with like professional athletes, movie stars, directors, important venture capitalists, right? Okay. So one in particular, I was working and I was building entrepreneur centers. And I went to his profile. He's a football player. He's an investor. He's a philanthropist. And he's from the same area as which I was building entrepreneur centers. And I saw that he was very excited about entrepreneurial stuff. I looked through his feed, and he was always posting stuff about the businesses that he invested in or what's important to him. So I went to, without connecting with him, I commented on it, right? So it popped up on his radar. Hey, Josh commented on your post. Then I liked something that he did. Then I shared it, right? So like sharing something is like, it's like lifting the person up in front of your community.
Right. Yeah.
So it makes it feel good. And then he actually reached out to me, and I was like, oh man, I would love to connect with you. I'm actually working on a project and I would like to get your advice. So investors want to pass on wisdom, right? You know, like if you ask for an investor money, they're going to tell you get lost. But if you ask them their advice, you're tapping into ego, you're tapping into pride, you're tapping into like the human motives that like make us feel good.
And if you ask a lot of questions about them and what they're doing, and you know, then they want to talk about themselves. Everybody loves talking about themselves. So if you show that you're interested. Okay.
So he reached out to me, and then we got on a phone call. I told him what I was doing. He's like, man, that's awesome. Now we're friends. Right? So we had phone calls. Never met in person, but he's offered me football tickets. He said, hey, why don't you bring your family here, and we'll do this. We've had many conversations. Now, when I work with a startup or something like that, and it's in his zone, I go, hey, will you take a look at this and give me your thoughts? Right? So he has money, he has the ability to invest, and if I send him an investment, he could fund it like that.
Well, and that's exactly why I love creating content that,
like this, right?
Because that's how you get their attention, you grab their trust and credibility, and then a lot of times if they reach out to you, you kind of have the advantage, I guess, where it's not so much like you're groveling or at their mercy saying, hey, can you help me out? It's more like, hey, if anything, it's more of an equal playing field, like saying, hey, that's great, what's going on? Let's chat, let's work together. But I think you definitely come from a more powerful position when they come to you, obviously. But how do you get them to come to you? And if you're not a content creator, then just like what you were doing is you're an engager, a high engager. So you can get them to reach out to you by engaging. And then maybe also, did you post any content that he may have saw that he...
Absolutely. So the people that I want to talk with, so this is a little behind the scenes, right? So when I'm working with, or I'm working with a client or something, and I know that we're gonna go after a certain target demographic or audience, I'll start posting content a month before, right? So I start building that trust, I start building that kind of content, it gets in front of them, I start popping up in their news feed, right? Because I'm positioning myself, my information, my strategies before them, before they even see me. So that when they see me, they go, wow, this guy is established in this field. He knows my business, he knows my pains, he knows my motives, he knows the problems that I have, right? So I'm working with a client now. I'm already starting to post stuff for that client, for even for myself, to position ourselves for when that question comes.
Well, okay, so can you give us a little bit more details on like what is the client or what's the industry? How are you posting?
Sure. So let's just say it's a software company. I can't give you too many specifics because a lot of times I do this for my clients, right? Let's just say it's a software company and they serve a certain demographic, right? Or they serve a certain industry. Let's use an industry or a vertical, right? So I'll start posting stuff for the decision makers in that vertical that interest them, that give value to them, or that answers questions that they have. So I'll get a little bit more granular. And I have to change this up a little bit. But let's just say the software company serves, let's just say they serve, nonprofits, okay? So who's the decision maker in that nonprofit that the software company can help? So what I start doing is I find that person in that organization, that title or whatever, and I start answering the questions that they have.
So you start creating content. It's like, how can nonprofits reach more people? How can nonprofits position their brand a certain way? So you start to, okay, I want to reach target A, and target A wants B. I'm going to start appealing to B
Yeah.
So that I look better to A.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when you do that in advance, what happens is it lays the groundwork so that they get to consume your content. They can learn about you. When you reach out to them, you could even send them one of your things and said, hey, I actually would like your thoughts on this. You are perceived as an expert in your industry. I would love your thoughts on this. Like, how could I make this better to serve you? And you could just send your content, which you've been creating for the last month, to them. And now you're asking for their advice. Now, you see, that's the second time I said ask someone for their advice. When you reach out to people and you're trying to sell them, so first of all, nobody wants to be sold anything. Everybody wants to buy something, but nobody wants to be sold something. But if someone comes to me and goes, hey, Josh, can I get your input on something? My guard drops and I go, yeah, man, what do you need? And I'm like so eager to show my expertise because it's my art. Mm-hmm. It's the thing that makes me happy. It makes me excited to help.
Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. If you have anything else to add, greatest tips or things that we missed, leave a comment below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll catch you in the next one.